Okay, this tutorial is for a basket weave. This orange pot here and this red pot here. So you are literally weaving your threads through. This is the pot I'm gonna do, or basket. I was gonna do this large size, but I decided I'm just gonna do this smaller size now. So your first thing will be to choose which stitch you want to do. I kind of like doing the vertical ones more, but since we have nothing on the top, it's hard for you to tell. So I'll do one big stitch that goes the length of, the whole time you're doing this, all your stitches are going to be the entire length of the piece. So then I'm gonna go not right next to that hole, but just a little bit over, so that I can, as if I could fit another stitch in between these two. I don't want it too tight, but I want it to be loose enough that there's still a gap, but not too big of a gap. This fabric is nice because it's got a weave. So I'm counting about 2 little squares over for each of my stitches. And it's also important to get them pretty lined up at the top. You don't want one, like that one is a little bit shorter than that one. You should avoid that if you can. But I like doing these for either baskets. I've done this with like a basket of flowers, or as I did there, kind of like as a pot for a cactus. I've also used this stitch as a basket on the base of a hot air balloon. So it's pretty fun and versatile. I like how much texture it adds. So you want to be careful. I can tell that I'm pulling a little too hard. My tension is not quite tight enough in the hoop. It's kind of pulling the fabric under here a little tight, so that I've kind of got a little dip in my fabric right there. So make sure your hoop tension is tight. Okay. So now that I'm coming to the end, this is where the fun begins. Okay, so now that I've finished the vertical stitches, I'm gonna do the horizontal stitches now. So I'm just gonna go super close to the end of that hole, but slightly up. Okay, and then I'm just going to weave through these stitches. So I'm gonna go over my first stitch and under the next. And it's a little piddly. Takes quite a while. If you have a long needle, you can probably get it through one time, depending on the size. Okay, so I've gone all the way through. This one's supposed to go under, so I'm just gonna pull that and then push these threads down a little bit so they're really all the way to the bottom. Maybe pull tight again. And then I'm just going to try to tuck this under that last stitch because I don't want it to look like it's coming out. Okay, and then this next one, I'm going to come up just a little ways and try to have it poke underneath that stitch. And then now that my needle's free again, I might try pulling this down a little bit, pushing it down. Okay, and then I like to twist, so I'm always going the right way. So then this time I'm going to go under this thread. You'll weave just the opposite of the last row, under one stitch, over the next. Okay, see there's quite a big gap there. So this is why you gotta kind of push through. And sometimes they'll kind of catch on a fiber like that within your stitch. And it can be a little tricky to make sure that it's pushed down. Okay, that's as good as I'm gonna get, I think. And then just putting it down there. I'm gonna go up through again. And sometimes pulling these a little will help. I might kind of get my fingernail involved too. There's a little more surface area than the needle has. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I'm gonna switch, do the opposite again. I do like to stay fairly close to my last stitch, my last weave, because as you see, when I went too high on the last one, it was harder to pull it down. Oh, okay, this got confusing. Those two threads look very similar. So I'm gonna pull through and then I'm gonna go again. So I make sure I really get through each one. And I'll do another stitch and push those down. Then go up just a little bit further up. But maybe only like 1 stitch length's worth. And then I'll do it again. Maybe a little closer this time. I actually have never looked up a tutorial for this stitch as an adult. I just remember this from an embroidery I did with my mom when I was like in junior high, and it's just stuck with me because it's so cool. Okay, I'll secure that stitch. Just try to push that down. Okay, so you'll just keep going like that until you have something that looks like that. Okay, good luck.